Welcome to Extra Legroom. Please be seated and stretch out. Enjoy. Take your shoes off? Is that good etiquette on a plane?
It's definitely considered to not be good etiquette, but I have a problem with that.
I also have a problem with that. I mean, why do we have to compromise our comfort? Right? Your own comfort, your own personal
I'm with
comfort.
I'm with you. It's like, listen, if you've got particularly like stinky feet for some reason, okay, it's probably not nice to do that. And you're not going to put your bare feet up. You're not going to take your socks off. You're not going to put your feet up on people's armrests.
Yeah, it's not Christmas. We don't need to display your stockings.
But I'd like to get out of my runners and just kind of
Relax a little
relax a little bit, you know?
bit. Yeah, absolutely.
You know what I'm talking about.
Happy Valentine's Day. February the 14th, Friday. People are looking for some getaways right now, like last minute.
Yeah, they're looking to get out of Dodge.
Yeah,
Like tonight.
exactly. They don't want to be around for tonight. They want to be in Vegas. This is what we've got. Very, very last minute. How much to go to Miami or Las Vegas? Okay. I've had both. Just over the weekend. Leaving Friday night and coming back Monday. How much, Mitchell?
It's expensive. It's really expensive.
How much is it? Last minute. You know those.
Last
You know
minute?
the guys. Oh, I'm looking for a last minute deal.
You want to hear the last minute deal we have for Vegas tonight? If you're ready to, this is only if you can go right now. Pretty much, you need to start heading to the airport.
Okay.
That's how this deal is.
Okay.
If you're looking for direct flights, you're looking at about $1,400.
Wow. Please. No, if you're gonna ask a question, I can't hear you unless you're talking in the mic. Even though I don't have
What is the
headphones.
topic?
Travel.
Travel. So this is a travel podcast. This is Steven. Steven is our neighbor here.
Yeah.
Steven, welcome
Hi.
to the show.
Yeah.
It's
hi.
called extra legroom.
Extra leg room.
Yes.
So it's about traveling on planes and leg room.
No, it's just but that's just the name of the show.
Okay.
But we talk basically anything and everything travel related. Things that are impacting the industry, the coronavirus.
Wow, that is a big.
Yeah, please take it. We have a guest.
You know,
And-
talking about leg room.
Yes.
There's an ongoing debate right now.
Okay. 1 second.
Viral debate. Okay. Okay. It's about when you are traveling a plane.
Yeah.
Where you should recline your seat because it's very annoying to you.
we were about to actually get into this
Well, yeah,
next.
You know, you go online, you see this is a big.
So what's your opinion? Do you think it's okay to
No,
recline
wait a
the plane?
second. I want to clarify. So basically, the issue is being able to recline in your seat on a plane, and whether or not that's something that is what.
Bad etiquette.
There are two sides to this
Okay,
issue.
please.
If you are the passenger
Yeah.
in front, you want to, recline.
Of course.
Is that your right? Then what about it sort of, takes up space to the passenger behind you, your
Right.
neighbor behind
That's true.
you, okay?
That's true.
Oh, the other side of the issue is that the passenger...
But there's also the guy in front of me. They have the same rights, and they may recline. I can recline.
Yes, actually we are ourselves and we're also neighbors to other neighbors.
Right.
So the two sides of the
Yeah.
issue, okay?
Yeah.
So on the receiving side, if you are on the receiving side, you're the passenger at the back.
Yeah.
So someone is doing that. How can you protest passively, saying that, I don't like it, but without really, intruding?
Well, what's wrong with like tapping the person on the shoulder and saying, "Excuse me, do you mind unreclining your seat?"
Yeah, but then why can't I say, well, actually, I'm quite comfortable. I paid for my seat. My seat reclines, and I'd like to recline on this
You
long
see,
flight.
he has one side of the argument,
So-
right? He's right, you see.
Okay. So what's your take
every
on
seat,
this,
every
Steven?
seat reclines here. So
Yeah. What's your take on this?
I think this issue might appear very trivial,
Yep.
at first instance, at first glance. But I think it describes the basic situation in life, the nature of freedom, and how to love
This
our
is deep.
neighbor as ourselves. Really, you see?
it is.
Wow.
Freedom.
You see why I'm friends with Steven? I told
Yes.
you. I told him about you.
Yeah.
Because you know what? A lot of people, when they think about freedom, is what I can do, or what's my right.
You can't
see?
tell me to put my seat up. I have the right to put my seat back.
But on the other side of the freedom issue, So if you want to have unlimited freedom, then you must be ready to take people intruding into your freedom.
course.
Hey, applies to you, applies to everybody, right? True for one, true for K, true for all, isn't it?
Yeah.
So if you are fighting like a lot of now the populists in politics in America, make America great again,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
And China wants to have the China dream, okay? So we like to think it's our right. We can do what we want, but we forget the flip side of the coin. So if other people pursue the same policy, the same method of doing it, what do you think? Is if you're on the receiving side of it, okay? It's a fact of life you cannot escape from, like in a marriage situation, okay? I don't like doing dishes, okay? But what about the other guy?
Right.
Okay? Or your
Yeah,
spouse,
yeah,
okay?
yeah.
I want to do this, but we would like he or she to do this to you, you know what? I think
It's the
not-
golden rule, right? Do unto those as you want done unto
That's
you.
right.
Exactly. I think a lot our
So what are you doing on a flight, the whole flight? Are you not going to recline your chair?
No, I can ask my neighbor at the back. No, if I want to recline, what is a good time?
So
What do
you're
you
gonna
want?
you're gonna take the extra step forward, and before reclining, turn to the person that this is gonna affect and say,
Is it good? Is it okay?
Do you
with
mind
you?
if
What
I
time?
recline?
Yeah.
At what time? Like, because, for example, if there's a baby behind,
Right.
you know what? He or she is doing something to the baby.
Right.
You don't want to do recline
Of
the seat.
course.
Now, the reason I'm doing this because I would appreciate my neighbor in front of me who's
Wow.
doing that to me. So
Wow.
because I'm not being a saint.
would you have done that, Mitchell?
No, I actually don't. I tend to not recline, unless it's a very long flight, and I would
Wait a
expect.
second. Wait a second. He just finished telling me that he takes his shoes off on the plane, right? And he wants to get comfortable. What do you think about that?
Now, taking off the shoes might annoy the passenger next to you,
Right.
but not so much.
No, but
the guys
I'm
in front
saying,
or yeah.
forget it. Let's say you don't have like extra stinky feet or like an obvious shoe odor problem, right? That
Yeah.
you would know yourself that you have, right? If you want to be comfortable, would you take your shoes off?
Actually, the question is not so much would you do it, but how would you do it not to
Offend
not
anybody.
be a nuisance, annoyance to people
Yes.
around you. A lot of things we can do if we don't do them properly.
Right.
People get annoyed.
So how would you do this? This is I'm like, teach me. How would you remove your?
Now, first of all, it's having to do with the right pair of shoes, getting the right pair of shoes onto the plane because
Okay.
if you have a boot thing, okay,
Right.
wow, it's very annoying because
Yeah, unstrap and no.
you know
We're
what?
talking just like regular running shoes that you
and
can
then
just
that
kick
shoes
off.
take up space. You see, that pair of boots. Imagine you are on like a slipper. You know, some of those casual shoes running, they almost like a slipper. Okay, nobody even noticed.
Oh
if you
yeah, no,
take-
it's just
yeah,
you're
Right.
all
You
of a
slide
sudden-
them off, no
So
problem.
you're going with like the Crocs that have the no back strap,
Yeah.
right?
I don't know about
Or even
Crocs.
like
I
a
don't know, whatever.
canvas shoes that's like what?
Yeah.
Like the Skechers.
Without the
The
Not
Skechers,
Skechers.
yeah, without
Vans.
this-
The
Vans?
Yeah.
Okay.
Without the
Yeah,
slack shoes,
yeah.
you know what?
And then
You-
it's
you-
easy.
Yeah. Nobody even noticed. Of course, then I prefer that you wear.
You don't put
socks.
your feet up on the armrest
So you're
in
not
front of you, but
advertising that yet. Like, oh, I'm so
Right.
comfortable now that my shoes.
No,
are-"
you just
You're
get 'em off, you just get
inconspicuously,
comfortable.
Take them off. Put
Yeah.
your feet on top of your shoes, right?
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
You don't lose them.
exactly.
If you need to make a quick getaway,
Yeah.
oh God,
Yeah.
someone needs to go to the bathroom. You need to stand up.
You know,
no problem.
Yeah.
I will admit that I've walked to the bathroom without putting my shoes back on.
Oh, that's disgusting.
But if the bathroom floor is wet,
I
then
know.
you and you
I
get
know.
shit,
I
tell you.
know.
Literally.
I've done that, and I know it. I know that was wrong.
Literally, you're in deep shit. Unbelievable.
Yes.
That's
I know.
the
I know.
extra radio laugh.
Yes.
You see that situation, Cory, you brought up just now, taking off shoes.
Yes.
It illustrates another fact in life, I think. Of course, there are right and wrong issues, there are black and white issues, but you know what? Besides black and white, the world is not in black and
No.
white. Is it besides black and white? Most of the time, I would say 99.999% of the time, people resort to it's a thing of principle. But even with issues of principle, you can do it in a certain way. They don't even have to raise the principles. You see, right? Because people don't even notice. You see, how can they protest if they don't even notice that you're doing it? But if you make a big statement, this is my right.
Right. That's when
but I
you
think
upset people.
This is also.
Oh, Joe got food.
What's wrong, Joe? No.
She found
she's
the paperwork.
frustrated. What? It's on the paper. We looked on the paper. It's
Oh,
all.
do you
X'd
see that?
out.
Do you see the look on her face?
She's like, I wasted all
Do
that
you see
time.
the look on her face?
I was looking
Oh.
for that paper. Where was that paper?
Hey.
I thought you checked. Thank you, Joanne. Joe saved the day. Let me tell you something. So everything happens for a reason.
There you
right?
go.
And you've learned something
Learning
new.
experience.
And Joanne is the manager here at Promenade Travel. 905-709-0909. So, Stephen,
Yeah.
we were talking about culturally though, okay? I was about to say. In your culture, please mistake me if I'm wrong on any of my ignorance. I believe that there's almost like being humble or like not taking recognition, not like saying, oh, who cleaned up and did all of the good stuff around here, It's like within your culture to say nothing, to be like, I don't know, somehow it got cleaned even though you did it, right? Because you want to remain humble and modest, and there's something about, please correct me.
Okay. Now, since you refer to my ethnicity, I have to tell your listeners.
Please.
I'm Chinese from Hong Kong.
Yes.
Okay. Let me quote a very famous Chinese work.
Did I wait? I'm sorry. Did I not say he would be a great guest?
You did.
Okay.
He's been saying it for a week.
Please continue. On your
I think
quote.
everybody heard about this work. It's The Art of Warfare by Sun Tzu. Okay.
Yes.
It says that try to avoid war unless you're sure you can win it. You see? So if we want to attract attention, make sure we attract positive attention, not negative attention. You don't want that, right? So it's not so much about whether you should stay low, not get noticed, or just stick your head up. It's about wherever we strike into reality life, okay, there's so much that's uncertain, unknown. We can never really predict. Don't believe the economists. Don't believe the scientists who say that you can manage risk. Okay, nobody can manage risk. But I think if we want to take a position, do something, make sure you prepare for what's to come, and make sure why you're doing it. Otherwise, you might regret it so much.
At the end of the day, I think that people are very quick to react, right? For the most part, like they have an opinion very quickly, right? But
Yeah, people don't stop and think and listen. They're just waiting to say something.
Correct, right?
Right? They don't absorb what they're not really listening. People are just waiting for their turn to talk.
For the most part, and to express their point of view and how this. And at the end of the day, I think if you're more thoughtful and take the consideration prior to acting and saying what you're going to say, which is very difficult for us in our position, as because you'd be listening to a heck of dead air, because but and you know what, we're real.
Well, there's an old saying also, you have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so you're supposed to listen twice as much as you talk.
Wow, I like that. I really like that.
Yeah, never heard that one before?
And then we have a pair of eyes too. We have to observe.
Yes.
Yeah.
There you go.
That's right. Now, Stephen is my neighbor in many regards, right? Here at work as well, you are my neighbor. You currently work at the
supermarket. I'm a shop assistant.
It's a TNT.
Yeah.
Okay. So now I want to ask you some. We're getting into a lot of our topics, unfortunately, and what's impacting the travel industry is this coronavirus, recently renamed COVID-19, and all of this stuff, right? I want to ask you from where you work, okay? Because I noticed initially when I went into TNT or whatever, a lot of the employees were wearing masks.
Right.
is this something like just precautionary? Like, obviously it's precautionary, but I mean, was this something that like, because I thought almost everyone was wearing it. I almost thought, I wonder if it was from management saying everyone should be wearing a mask right now, or whatever, or is it just people's fears, or did they tell you to wear a mask?
Actually, interesting you're asking. All my colleagues are asking me, Stephen, why aren't you putting on a mask? Because I go to work without a mask for like since the beginning of the epidemic.
course.
Okay, yeah. And I think there is a psychological side to it. I think those masks originally serve the purpose of if you are sick, you're patient, you want to spread it to other people.
Right.
But now people have this idea: if I put on a mask,
Then you're safe.
it protects me. But actually, that has been clinically proven not true at all.
Well, I will say that the last time I went to the hospital, the doctor had a mask on.
That's
to me,
because
right?
in a hospital setting, that mask does what it's supposed to do. Everything's sanitized. They're sanitized. Their hands, they're wearing gloves. They're wearing their proper doctor's
Yep.
gowns or whatever they're called. But when you're wearing them out in the public and you're not wearing gloves or anything, as soon as you touch the mask with your hands, it's contaminated. Right? So that's why those paper masks are fine in the right setting, but to be used to fight this, apparently, as Stephen just mentioned, they're totally useless.
I think medical masks evolve in the situation where we don't have sterilization. So when the doctors work on patients' open wounds, they don't want to contaminate the wound, so they put on masks. They put on caps, their hair, so that the follicles won't fall on it. And that is like, back in a century ago. And then gradually evolved because they found that if the patients cough, sneeze, the fluids will, contaminate. So they have the mask, almost like a handkerchief or a piece of tissue in front of them.
Right.
Okay? But to a healthy person, it doesn't protect you because if it's in the air and you breathe, your air comes from all directions,
Correct.
not just the
Right.
in front of you.
Yeah.
Okay, so that doesn't really do anything. But you know what? A lot of our needs are psychological,
Yeah.
quite detached from reality, quite detached from what is useful, effective, or not.
Was there something that came out from like upper management that said you guys should be wearing masks, you shouldn't be wearing masks? Because if I was the manager there, I would be like, I mean, you can't control people and to that extent, like we were discussing with freedom, right? Everyone has the right to protect themselves. But as an employer, people are going to judge me based on that, and they're going to say, I'm not going to go into this travel agency right now if everyone's wearing a mask. There must be a problem, right? Did upper management say anything at all?
Oh, okay.
One way
I
or
think
another?
The to people who from Greater China, I think we have to date back to 2003 when we have the SARS endemic. Okay,
Yeah.
and that sort of started the whole trend of everybody putting on a piece of mask.
Yeah.
Psychologically or or clinically to protect
Right.
themselves. Okay, this time the management is very considerate. It sort of sourced the mask for us because a lot of places are sold out the mask. You go to Shoppers Drug Mart, a lot of them are sold out. So, but it doesn't really recommend that you put on it.
Yeah.
But if you feel the need to put on it, they source it for you, at a very good price, and you put on it. But they are already advising people, try not to put on it unless there's a need, because it frightens customers, as you say.
Yeah.
The perception.
100%. So
Yeah.
I'm sure you've noticed in the last couple of weeks
Yeah.
a decline in traffic at the mall. A decline. I'm sure as a result, there's a decline everywhere, including TNT, right? Which is unusual to me to have a decline in like a supermarket, right? Because you gotta eat, you gotta eat, you gotta eat. It's scary times, and people are fearful. We've noticed a huge decrease in the last couple of weeks, which is why we've given birth to Extra Legroom, the travel podcast, because we've got a little bit of time, to be quite honest.
Yeah.
Although today I'm pleasantly surprised that
It's been steadier
been
today.
steady. And I sort of yesterday I made a prediction that it would be that way, and I think it's coming to fruition. But anyways,
There's one thing I would like to add, Cory,
please.
because you talk about there's a decrease in traffic, right? Now, surprisingly, okay, we know that the air travel tends to help spreading of the virus, okay? But right now, I think this is not so much created by the actual spread of the virus. It's created by the internet, the knowledge, and the news, and the talk about this. Because I think in Canada, Toronto, there's only one confirmed case, and in BC only two, not more than three. The whole of Canada
Right.
is less than.
And it's contained.
Yeah.
Well, right now it's contained, but what is it like in Hong Kong?
In Hong Kong, I think we have quite a 3 to 500 cases.
Whoa.
Quite substantial, but the really acute and fatal ones are not that much. But I think it's a matter of perception, because when you hear something more,
Yeah.
when you see people doing some certain things, then you think it must be serious. It must be the frequency of it, okay? It's again the perception. Like if a certain thing goes on the newspaper headline, then you think it's important, okay? Because you read about it in the newspaper, right?
So it
I
must
think
be
it's like
important.
that. If I tell you, you know what, in North America, violent crimes have increased, you believe it because you read about violent crimes
Right,
right.
every day. But actually, in North America, violent crimes decreased
Right.
over the past 5 years.
Oh, it's good news.
It's perception.
Yeah. Yeah. And obviously newspapers need doom and gloom to sell papers, right?
Of course.
Which is unfortunate. I wish there was just a good news, like a good news station where it's just good news.
Welcome to the Good News Podcast.
Today, lucky lottery winners are, like, imagine they started off that way and they just continued. It was just like good news. Like, good news, Betsy gave birth to a healthy litter. You know, like, I don't know. Everything good, nothing bad, you know? But no, it's not like that, unfortunately. So it's for me, I can't even have the news on because my 5-year-old is, you know.
Perceptive of everything.
No, it's scary. It's like, oh, someone fell off a cliff? No. No. I think they were talking about the Roadrunner and remember the cartoons?
Of course.
Yeah.
It's very scary.
I think, how should I say it?
But this is scary. This is newsworthy, I think. I think, if anything, it already might be underplayed a little bit. Okay? Because I've heard that there was, and I mean, again, who knows on the source? There's so much bullshit out there, right? There's so much fake news and there's real news, and you don't know. And we're dealing with China, which is not the most, like,
not transparent at
no,
all.
thank you. Not
transparent at all.
Okay? So,
Transparency is the last word you can use to describe China, okay?
so there's, and I don't know if you heard this, an exiled Chinese businessman who lives in the U.S.
Oh, Mr. Kuo.
You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, he used to be a member of the inner core of the Chinese Communist Party, so he knew a lot. He still knows a lot of inside
The inner
workings,
workings, yeah.
and they still have contacts. You know, people feed him with information, but
But do you know what he said?
yeah,
He said that the numbers are more like 50,000 people have already died.
they say that the not just him. I get quite reliable sources that you multiply the official figure by 10 times, and it's not yet there.
No.
It's scary. It's very scary.
By 10 times.
By 10 times the death toll by 10
So what are they
times.
saying right now? 1,300, 1,400 people have died, I guess?
1,500 almost.
But do you know how big the population in Wuhan is?
Yeah, it's like 11 million or something.
It's 11
So-
million, but isn't there a GTA? There's like a GTA almost, right?
That's the GTA.
And the GTA I heard was more. I heard it was like something like 40, 50
it
million.
has a big.
No, that's what they locked down. That was the lockdown zone, about 50 million people.
Wuhan is one of the first tier cities, and like all first tier cities like Shanghai, Beijing, Canton, Guangzhou, Shenzhen, it has, well, several million mobile population any day.
Right.
Because, and then, you know the geography of China, you know that Wuhan is one of the transit centers. So it's like St. Louis in the
It's
States.
a hub. It's a hub.
The hub, yeah. The river, the railway hubs, you know. Everybody has to get to Wuhan before you get to the other part of China. If I go up to, western part of China, the fastest, the most logical way is to go to Wuhan and then take another, express link railway. So that's a transport hub. So it's actually quite difficult. It's a very difficult situation.
So I tend to. I've been saying this thing about the exiled Chinese businessmen. And when I read it initially, to be quite honest, I thought it was quite plausible. But I think a lot of people are watching the news and they're looking at it like it's a stock market, right? How many more, like 10 more, 20 more, and they're using that as a gauge. Where I think that's no way to gauge, because the information that we're getting, I think, is not. So, here's my question. Are you traveling right now? Would you be traveling right now? Do you want to be at the Toronto Pearson Airport?
Actually, you know what? I have an elder sister who was scheduled to visit us during the Chinese New Year, which is just 3 weeks ago, okay?
Right.
And because of this, she canceled her trip. She didn't want to be, being accused of, helping to spread the virus, okay? So cancel the trip, cancel the airline ticket. We have everything arranged. I actually got a photographer here, professional, to take a family photograph with her, with us. So you can see how big an impact it has on people's lives.
Wow.
Yeah.
See? And that's affecting your neighbor. So that's what I mean. This thing has affected a lot. Industry, economies.
The travel industry alone is taking a major hit.
I think the biggest impact is on the supply chain.
Oh, I would say 100%.
Well,
I think
the automotive industry is apparently taking.
Well, I think what's going to happen is you're going to have more countries that are going to want to be like, if Trump, he's going to be like, this is what I've been talking about. We want it built and made in the USA, right? And the world at some point decided, hey, you can get it for a lot cheaper in China, and they all went. So now I think is a time where maybe there's going to be some adjustment, and I think this will eventually bring back more manufacturing within your own nation.
People are also now asking the question, though, why is it cheaper in China? And they're actually, when they realize why and how, people are starting to shy away from it.
Yeah. Yeah.
I think how about I say, there are two ways this argument goes. Now, in terms of bringing back manufacturing, actually, manufacturing is having a renaissance, a revival in North America already. Mm-hmm. But you see, they are very automated, heavily,
robotic,
using robotics. Okay, and I think comes the age of I think in the age of 5G, when the smart industries, the next generation smart industries, they will utilize robotics, sensors, just-in-time supply, everything. The revival of manufacturing will not be bringing with it the previous benefits of heavy employment, human employment. Okay, so it won't be creating as many
jobs,
manual, blue-collar jobs.
Right.
A lot of jobs created will be quite high-tech, to be honest.
Right.
High-tech and with sector specialized. You need to really know
the manufacturing industry is evolving.
Yeah, look at manufacturing of. I don't have to go far. Look at Tesla.
Yeah.
The factory in America.
Yeah.
See, you actually see a lot of people there. Oh, when they ramp up supply, they need workers, but those workers are not making cars; they're into delivery. You know?
Right, yeah.
Waxing the car, delivering to the customers. Most
But
of
this
the
has also impacted
Yeah.
Tesla because I think they're getting a bunch of stuff from China as well, and it's I don't know.
I'm sure they must be.
I don't know.
Yeah.
I read something somewhere about that.
yeah.
Um,
So I say, there's a two sides to it. One side is that I think North America is already witnessing a revival, renaissance in the manufacturing industry, but the benefits won't be as expected. Won't be
Yeah.
what Trump boasts about.
Yeah.
You see, he told actually the Michigan auto workers, "I'm going to, you know what, bring back your jobs."
he's
I
not.
tell you, automobiles won't. You know, there's actually talk right now. People talking to Elon Musk said that he should be making all the Teslas in China and then ship them here. Even with the tariff and everything, it's still, you know,
Wow.
can you imagine that?
Wow.
It's such a unique indigenous American brand, isn't it?
Yeah.
Invented, branded, and manufactured in America, but because China can do it better actually, and then people say that the Tesla Model 3 that came out of the Chinese factory, they have better quality. Wow, you know, that is a
Yeah.
really shocking piece of news, right? You can imagine this, right? As you say that in China, they make a better computer than IBM, you know.
Yeah.
What? It's shocking.
Yeah.
I think that is the first take. The second take is that it's not so much whether the jobs come back to, because, you know, in this century, people are already telling the population growth, the market growth will be mainly in the Asia Pacific region, because India is a younger population. You know that Indians, they have, you know, a family, big family, a
Yeah.
lot of kids. And Vietnam, Thailand, Philippines, Malaysia, Indonesia, those are growing populations.
Right.
Okay, in Europe, Western Europe, Central Europe, Northern America, we have a net decrease, unless we're going to allow the Hispanics,
Yeah.
okay, these Central Americans and,
Right.
and the South Americans coming over
And
here.
immigration. Yeah.
So can you imagine if your market is in Asia Pacific, you want your manufacturing facility to be close to your market because, you know, it's shorter response time,
Yeah.
right? And then you adapt the product to that particular market needs, right? The customer needs.
Well,
So,
it's a lot different now that it's a very small world, and I think that's why people are scared. I want to tell you that Mitchell went out, and he got a whole bunch of, like, you know, non-perishable items
yeah.
because he's like, what if, just like that, things change overnight in Toronto. And there's 20 cases, and there's this, and there's that, and it could happen. It's possible. This is a world hub city, right? From people from all over that map are transiting here,
Yeah.
are coming to this city to do business and all of things, right? So it could very well overnight. The CFB Trenton, all of a sudden there's maybe a couple of cases that, let's say, would pop out. Right now there's nothing.
Yeah.
But what if a couple of cases popped up, the guy is doing the examination, gets it, gives it back to some, and then all of a sudden, you never know. So
I agree with you. I mean,
at least he's prepared. So I think that there's a fine line between going out and getting a mask and wearing it every day,
Yeah.
wherever you go, inside, outside, in the car, and whatever. If you're going to wear the mask, then wear it properly. So, for instance, if you get a phone call, you don't lower your mask to take the phone call,
yeah.
right?
Yeah.
That all of a sudden this defeats the purpose of this mask. And when you you shouldn't be like playing with it and touching it, and you know what I mean. It's not
Yeah.
something that you're supposed
Yeah.
to do, anyways. But don't jump the gun and get into hysteria, okay? But I think being prepared, there's nothing wrong with,
Oh,
You know what I
always
mean?
get yourself prepared.
because you
yeah.
never know, and you should always be prepared. I mean, we sell insurance, right? No one in the history of booking anything books with the intention of canceling that trip,
Oh,
or
yeah,
they wouldn't have spent that money to begin with.
Yeah, yeah, yeah,
But insurance exists for a reason,
yeah,
because you never know,
yeah.
right?
Risk management is we call. Yeah.
Absolutely. So when traveling or just with life in general, right? Because I know you're a philosophical individual, so it's funny actually. Whenever I run into you, right, we always end up having a very interesting conversation, and it's not.
I always like talking to you, Cory.
Thank you. Yes, and likewise. And look, now you're on the show.
Yeah. I have something counterintuitive to say about this endemic. Okay, a lot of people think about combating the virus or the risk of contracting virus with like external stuff like face masks, disinfectant, and gloves or avoiding certain places.
It's Valentine's Day, yeah? Yeah. There might be a lot of this virus being spread today.
Yeah, a kiss
Right?
is it, right? Yeah,
guess so.
touching of the face,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
But you know what? Let me bring in Chinese medicine, okay? Now, it's clinically proven that a lot of the problems we have, sickness and illness, are created by bacteria and viruses, right?
Yes.
But have we ever asked this question that the same two people exposed to the same, like I'm sitting next to you,
Yeah,
okay?
yeah.
Someone sneezes
One
next to us.
person's a carrier, the other person gets infected.
Yeah.
So how does
there's
the
this-
person that didn't get infected become the carrier? Like what are they immune to?
Exactly. There's a very there's a very smart Chinese. It's a contemporary, not an ancient sage. Okay, he asked one question: is that we never asked about the soil. What do you mean by that? You plant a seed into the soil. The seed will grow or not grow depends on the quality of the soil. You know what? You get a virus, a bacteria germ into your body. Your body is the soil. Your body determines whether that germ, virus, bacteria will grow and spread, okay? You see? Now, I've been here a long time in Toronto, 30 years, but this time I came back in like 2018 November, so I've been here like just over a year, and I have 3 flus already. But every time it starts with sore throat, and then I drank some Chinese herbal medicine, and after 2 days, the sore throat is gone.
What is your secret Chinese herbal medicine that you use?
That it's not so much the herbal medicine. The herbal only boosts
Your immune
your body
system a little bit.
but you have to have this. You have to have the physical state before you do
Right,
that. Okay.
right.
So every time 2 days of sore throat, I recover without coughing, sneezing, fever, sore joints. With all those things. But where's my colleague in the supermarket? Wow, they literally take close to a month to fully recover.
So what is this medicine?
I think it's not so much medicine. It's
Secret
the normal
medicine.
state.
It's secret medicine. I can't get it out of him.
I think it's.
Where did you get this medicine?
It's not a medicine. It's how to tune your body, condition your body in a certain state that even if the bacteria, germ, the bug gets into your body, it doesn't have a good chance of growing, prospering in that. Yeah, I think that is the. Actually, a lot of people talk about Chinese. So
let me get to this then.
Yeah.
This Chinese medicine that you have that boosts the immune system. What is that?
The normal state.
But what's it called? But what's it called? And on that note, I'm going to say thank you to my guest. I'm going to excuse myself, but I thank you so much for coming in today. And remember, when you're choosing a seat, choose the one with the extra legroom. We'll see you next time.